The artworks for this week, Color Week 2, and due on Tuesday, 119, because we don't have school on Monday, so keep that in mind, are pretty interesting and full of color. So, option number 1, create an op art style artwork. With option number 1, create an artwork in the style of op art, you're going to want to check out the links and resources, which I have lots of on the following slides. Create an original artwork, and this can be done digitally or on paper. So first, there are some things that you're going to want to consider, the main components that we talked about when we talked about op art this week and Bridget Riley, who we focused on. Number 1, you want to utilize tints and shades to create movement forward and backward. You want to consider what you can achieve with optical mixing by putting colors next to each other, colors that might create new colors or might cause a little bit of confusion or optical illusion. And then lastly, use thick and thin lines to create depth. So remember, where lines are heavier or wider, or the spaces are wider, that's going to change the value and also look like things are coming towards you. So here's a couple more examples. The one on the left, that's another Bridget Riley. The one on the right is by an artist named Victor Vasserly. So is this one. Making the value of color complements the same can make them hard to look at and have that vibrating, contrasty feeling that we talked about today. So, for example, which apple appears to be brighter? Gotcha! Actually, the apples are the same color. You probably guessed that if you've seen things like that before. The background and the contrast is what makes something look brighter or duller, and that has everything to do with complements or things across from each other on the color wheel, or things being neighbors, like we talked about today. That red background is barely a different shade of red. So that kind of contrast sets things out. Red is a warm color. Green is a cool color. Warm and cool colors contrast with each other. That's true too. So look at these awesome examples. This is a new project for me. So these are all artworks done by students of different art teachers, but we can be inspired by them. All of them involve starting with a sketch, lines and shapes, following some basic ideas of what happens when you make lines in concave directions if they're curved, or convex directions, and then following some of those things if you tried the op art shape classwork, things like alternating dark versus light or positive versus negative, and then some really cool things like if you look at the shading, using our blended shading technique, you can go from dark to light and make something look like it's curving, further adding to that change of dark to light. And then also optical mixing, color mixing, contrasting of colors. So on the next couple of pages of this slideshow, slides, I should say, I did include a couple of resources that might help you get started if you wanted some ideas for how to draw some shapes or backgrounds or designs that might lend themselves nicely to creating illusions. There are more of these types of ideas on the internet, so feel free to expand your search if you'd like to. So when you get started making these, remember again, utilizing tints and shades, optical color mixing, and thick and thin lines. That's what you're going to want to do. So starting to sketch your ideas. Don't worry about color. Don't worry about perfection. Just get some ideas down. So here are my 3 ideas for my sketch. I realized I really did like the sphere idea and playing around with that. You can see that my ideas in sketch form probably look kind of hairy. They're not super great. But those are sketches and thumbnail sketches. That's fine. Here is a slide about colored pencil and how to effectively shade. I'm going to do a demo on that on Thursday, and I will record it. So you can check back for that. And I'll add it into the slide. So if you're working digitally, not with colored pencils, you're going to draw your idea as a sketch layer. And actually, I'm not going to read all these because you can do that if you choose this one. But get into that, those directions. And I'm also going to do a demo on how to make straight lines with the ruler tool in Fresco. So please check back for that again Thursday or Friday. And then there's your reflection question slide. So, oh, I didn't attach mine. Okay, well, I'm just going to show you. So in Fresco, I've started mine. I thought I attached it. It is a work in progress. You saw the sketch progress, but this is the one that I decided to choose and go with. So it is clearly a step up from my thumbnail sketch. And I looked up how to make the like outline of nice shapes, and that's actually another tutorial I'll be doing, or a demo. So that's my work in progress on my op art piece. Okay, and that was choice number 1. So if we go back here, choice number 1, create an op art style artwork. Choice number 2, create an abstract artwork inspired by Amanda Hone, who we talked about today, Tuesday. Sorry. Artwork choice number 2, create an abstract artwork in the style of Amanda Hone. You're checking out the links and resources again. This one, you are creating an original artwork, even though you are, kind of trying to take inspiration and make an abstract artwork inspired by her. This can be done digitally or on paper, depending on what materials you have. That's up to you. If you click on this little globby abstract down there, you can go to her website again. Then I'm giving this so that when you go to this choice, you can be reminded. Here's the slides that we looked at today concerning her work. We talked a lot about how she uses tints and shades to create that forward and backward movement. She utilizes contrast to make areas that either are going to fight or be lower on the contrast and blend. So you can choose either of those routes. And remember, my main point that I made when we were looking at this slide was that people that don't necessarily understand abstract art and the theory and choices behind it might say that it's just random, meaningless, kind of, whatever. But you can make a lot of choices, and you should. So when you, if you choose this option, you should be planning to very deliberately utilize tints and shades to create forward, backward movement, and either, you're using colors that are going to contrast and sort of fight against each other, or blend because they're neighbors on the color wheel and they get along, or some of both, like that one that we looked at that had both. You do need to be consciously thinking about your focal point. Don't play that guessing game where it's like, oh, I don't know where my focal point is. Where do you think it is? You need to be making decisions from the start that support your focal point. So you're going to check out the links. You're going to start sketching ideas and plan how you would use tints and shades. Again, start very minimally with just simple thumbnails and make your plans. So here are my thumbnail sketches, which is all I have right now. I haven't started any kind of painting or digital piece. I'm not even actually sure which I'm going to do yet, to be honest. But my idea is going to center around cool versus warm. So my focal point will likely be one versus the majority of the rest, but I'm not really sure yet. I prefer like swirly, curvy curlicues. I think I said that today when I was talking about how I loved that little perfect curlicue she had that was orange against the blue. So what I did in this thumbnail sketch was circle the part in red that I intend to be my focal point. So in each place where I was working on a design, and I had some pretty kind of vivid images as I was doing it, and then I went and I really made choices about, as I was making it, where my focal point would be. Okay, so here are some directions regarding if you are doing it digitally or if you're doing it on paper with materials. So you can read those. Tips to make it better, and a reminder that I'm going to do a demo on how to make straight lines digitally. Okay, so that is the second artwork choice, create an abstract artwork by Amanda Hone. And then lastly, we have create a portfolio of 6 photos in one color. The word for that is monochromatic. So let's take a look at this. This artwork choice, create a 6 photo portfolio. That means a series of 6 photos. Tints and shades or variations of that one color, just one color. So that's something that I really need you to understand because my slideshow kind of doesn't reflect that until the last slide. Okay. So I'm showing lots of good photos that are one color only, but there's all different colors. So at the end, really make sure, and I'll try to keep repeating this. Okay, so there's some important rules for this assignment, this choice, I should say. You have to have only original photos taken by you. You may not use any photos from the internet. So even though there are only 6 photos in this choice, which seems like hardly any, and it really is, it may be challenging to get good photos all in one color 6 times. It could be challenging. So despite how challenging that is, you cannot use photos from the internet. They have to be your original photos. Second thing, and this is also potentially challenging, so you need to know all this going into it. You cannot take photos from the past. So I don't want to see any beach photos from 2 years ago. Okay, or when you went to Animal Adventure and took pictures of April for Orange. You cannot use pictures from the past or from the internet. They have to be taken now. Why, Mrs. Murphy? That's so mean. Because you're deliberately taking pictures that are your best effort at good composition, at good POV, with minimal background, and you're cropping them. And I'm sorry, but this is this is the assignment. So these 6 photos are monochrome or monochromatic. That means one color. So monochromatic photography is photography where each position on an image can record and show a different amount of light, but not a different hue. So pretty much everything in the picture is going to be that one color. Am I going to be like there with a magnifying glass looking to see if anything isn't? Of course not. So you're wanting to take a good photograph, a good composition, setting it up good, good light, everything good, all in one color. So these are professional photographs. This is not something that everyone will achieve or aspire to. I get that, but just do your best. Okay. So here are some, tips and some more kind of rules and guidelines. You can't cheat and use filters or add adjustments. Sorry. You have to search out and take pictures of blue things or green things or red things. Okay, make sure you have good natural light to get the true color. If you want to take a whole bunch of pictures of something yellow or green or blue, and then you have it under your lamp in your room at 11 o'clock at night, it may not look that color after you take pictures of it. So you need to take these pictures in natural light. You want to frame a good composition with a good focal point that is worthy of looking at. So don't just lay down your green math folder and take a picture of it. That's a waste of everybody's time and boring. So don't do it. Crop and make slight adjustments and try to get a scale, like the ones we did with pencil from light to dark. So here's an example. I put right on the top that I've never done this before with a group like this. So I literally stole these from the internet, which I am allowed to do as an educator. I've also told you that before. So you're just going to have to get over that. I'm sorry. So look for all kinds of things around you in the one color you choose. Take great photos, capturing different tints and shades. So I grabbed a whole bunch of green ones, tried to pick things that weren't exotic or unattainable. I tried to pick things that you could find around your house. I think some people have fancy olives. I know that's a fact. Okay. So, and some people have mint that they grow. Okay. So I tried to pick pictures that were attainable, I thought. Once you have a collection of green photos, look at them, load them up, look at them, and try to sort out and hand in 6 that kind of represent a range of values, as mine do. If you squint at this progression, it's I tried to order it. It's not perfect. I didn't ever find like a really dark green that I wanted, but it does show a change in kind of progression in value. That's what you're aiming for. And then there's the reflection question sheet. Okay, so that's it. What I expect now, it's Wednesday for you to look at these, is that by tomorrow, Thursday, we have some demos. You do your artist log with some progress on your choice, and then you have all the way till Tuesday to work on this artwork. Let me know by email if you have any questions.